Hey, it's Dr. Karin. In this video, we're going to talk about how to let go of old relationships, when it's time to walk away, and how to do it. One of the most difficult things that happens to us as we're evolving is that we see that it's time to let go of old relationships. Maybe, maybe not. We try to fix them. We try to work on them. I want to teach you how to know if that relationship is worth holding on to or if it's one you really need to let go of. And I want to give you some good tips and tools for how to navigate that process so you can embrace the relationships that are really good for you. Let's dive in. So the number one component to decide if a relationship is still in alignment in your life is to look at the way that you feel when you're around them. It really is this simple. So if you're going through an awakening process or a self-growth process, some kind of evolution where you're changing, which we typically go through a few times in our life, it is very likely that you are also changing your relationships. You're changing what you really desire. Maybe you used to really be into certain things or thought you wanted certain things, but now you realize that's not really one of your top values or one of the top desires that you have, or maybe you've agreed to do things for a while or allowed a certain behavior to persist in a relationship. But now you're coming into your own and maybe you're establishing an identity that feels stronger and you want to stand up for your values a little bit more. And as they're shifting, you realize, gosh, this just doesn't feel great for me. The barometer in your body that tells you if something is in alignment with you anymore. So your body's full of energy, it's full of emotional energy. Your body has a GPS system in it, a sacred GPS, and it's your soul. It's your spirit, your intuition, your inner knowing, and it's always speaking to you from the center down here. This is where your solar plexus chakra is. Now our monkey mind tries to get in the way of it. This is your programming. This is the programming that's taught you to hold on no matter what. You can fix them, you can save them. Maybe they'll go back to how they were. Maybe if you just have a baby, this will change. Maybe if you just do this or wear that or lose 10 pounds, this will change. Whatever it is, all those things that we do in relationships, if you stand on your head, blah, 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 you're trying to change the other person. But the fact is, the person that's changing right now is you. And if you're watching this video, that means that you're really ready to shift things in your life. And there's no coincidence that you're going to be hearing these points. So what I want you to ask yourself as you tune in to right here, how do you feel? Because your soul speaks to you. So when somebody is someone that you really enjoy, that's in alignment with your soul in this moment. Now, mind you, your soul has evolved. So when you meet people, maybe they become a really close friend of yours. Maybe you got along as kids. Maybe you started dating them when you were 18, 25, whatever years old. You got together and you had a good time because you were in alignment. You like to do the same thing. You agreed to the same kind of dynamic. Whatever it was, fed you in a way that felt right to you, okay? It was in alignment with your vibration, with your consciousness, with your soul's alignment with who you believed you were and what you deserved. As you grow and evolve, especially if you're going through some kind of a spiritual awakening and you're waking up to new knowledge, you realize, wow, those things that I used to agree to don't feel good anymore. They're out of alignment with my soul. And the questions that you can ask yourself to figure that out is, how do I feel when that person walks in the room? So the two things to check on is when your soul gives you a yes, this is an alignment, it feels expanded, it feels good. It may not feel like having a party, it may just feel neutral, but it feels neutral to super good. You lean in, you want to know about the person and you don't feel obligation to do it. You're not staying out of obligation. That's a key word. You're staying because you really want to. You have an innate, natural desire to find out more, to tell them more about your life, to engage. And this can be the same for family members. By the way, family members often just need new boundaries around them. I know that we can't always get rid of them permanently, but you can limit communication with them. You can set new boundaries. So if it's a family member that you're thinking about, all these rules also apply, okay? I'm just gonna be typically talking about maybe the intimate partner will be the person I'm dwelling on, but this actually applies to all relationships, including friendships and family. So what you wanna ask yourself as far as the time you're spending or the commitment you have with this person, do I feel good around them? Is it a neutral to expanded when I'm around them most of the time? That is a soul yes, okay? A soul no. God, do I feel constricted and contracted? So I'm doing this. So you can feel when someone's energy is no longer a match to yours, your soul will actually contract in their presence because the match is off. The vibration that they're carrying is not in alignment. And so what's happening is someone's got to move. Typically the person that is in agreement to staying in a relationship that isn't good for them has to move down to the lower level of vibration, of consciousness of the person that's holding that density First of all, let's have no judgment for that, because everyone's on their own soul journey. So no condemnation, they just are where they are, and it might not be a match anymore for you. But what's likely happening is, and I've been here a few times, you are then asked to lower your vibration, which means maybe engaging in behaviors like fighting or, toxic dynamics, or maybe that person's a friend and they're gossiping all the time, or maybe it's a family member that wants to talk about how crappy your mom or your dad is, or wants to keep rehashing some competitive dynamic if it's a sibling. Whatever it is, it's a dynamic that as you've evolved and raised your vibration up to one of more acceptance and peace and collaboration and joy and self-love, it doesn't match you anymore. So this person's always asking you to engage at a lower level of consciousness, which looks like competition, fear, shame, guilt, bullying, all those things. And by you agreeing to come down here, it doesn't feel good. It actually feels really bad to your soul, because your soul's going, no, this is not where we are. So that GPS in your system, in your body, will always give you direction based on the way that you're feeling in that moment. And notice, are you finding yourself having to lower yourself to those behaviors, those dynamics, those mindsets to be with this person, to spend time with this person? And my guess is that because you're here, if that's happening, you are ready to make the shift to making choices that keep you at the vibration that your soul is asking you to be on. And that means changing the dynamic in this relationship. So first of all, some relationships are really worth saving. Like, I'm all for long-term relationships. I'm all for family bonds and long-term friendships, of course. This is about you deciding what is really serving your highest good. Is this serving my highest good? Is this bringing me more joy than not? If not, do I need to just put more boundaries in? Boundaries looks like less communication, less agreement to get into conversation or messaging with that person, no agreement anymore to get into any toxic dynamics, fighting and all that. The boundaries need to change. Or does this person need to be totally removed from my life because this is really affecting my well-being? Now, the relationships that are worth saving are the ones where both parties really want to grow. And this is a long-term relationship, family, friend, or spouse, or whoever in your life, and you really feel compelled, like, I feel like there's a chance that we can make this work and grow together, and you feel just a sprinkling of hope coming from them. If you can go to them, maybe you have a counselor with you, or maybe it's just you, or whatever form feels safe to you, and just say, I feel like I'm changing and these things are becoming more important to me. First of all, are you allowed to speak your truth? That's a big sign. Are you allowed to say how you feel? That's a big sign. Are you allowed to ask for what you need? Huge sign. If you aren't, that person is probably no longer in alignment with you. But if that person's able to sit and listen, if they're able to have some emotion and some empathy with you, and if they're able to say, look, I really want to grow with you, and that feels right to you. So again, check in with your own spirit. Maybe your soul contract is over. Maybe you've run your course and this person's just ready to be sent away with love, and that's okay. You're not going to ever get any of this wrong, by the way. Everything that you're going to do is in perfect timing. No decision is actually wrong for you. It's just a matter of choice of how good you want to feel in your life. So if this person is someone that your soul really wants to continue this evolution, this growth with, and you want to work on whatever issues are coming up, it's going to feel really good to you to make that choice. And they're also going to agree to work on their own issues with you, their own growth plates, their own shadow work. They're going to want to grow with you, and they're going to also commit to doing the work. So that's how you're going to know, because your soul's going to know that it's worth saving. So let's talk about the relationships that you're going to be letting go of. This is going to be a process. It's going to require some healing. It's going to require some alchemizing, and it's okay. You have everything that you need to get through this. That's why you're here today. There's no coincidence that you're getting these points, because we often just need information at the time that we're ready to shift, because those little tips and tools and techniques can mean everything as we move forward. So the first thing I want to tell you, if you're feeling pain about letting go of this is a really kind of challenging thing, especially if you've been really invested in this relationship and you've kind of formed your identity around it. There needs to be a period of healing and then alchemizing that feeling into something that you can use to purposely empower you later. But for now, let's talk about healing. Get the support that you need. Go to a counselor. Find a bestie, just one or maybe two, not everybody, because we don't want to spread this out to the masses, to talk through. If you haven't been speaking up for yourself, it's going to be really important that you're opening that throat chakra now and you're telling your story in a sacred, safe space with a mentor or a counselor or a trusted best friend that you know will not share with anybody else, that will hold a safe, sacred space for you to talk through, because it's really important that you help your mental mind heal with your emotional mind. And the way to do that is by talking through the relationship, talking through the pros and the cons, making sense of it, because that's going to be super important as you're getting your healing on all levels. And as you heal, that energy is going to need to move, okay? Letting go of someone is hard. Even if it wasn't a great relationship, there still is a grief process, okay? And that grief process is totally your own. That energy in your body, so energy's natural state is movement. That energy's probably been trapped for a while. If you've wanted to maybe change this relationship or leave for a while, it's probably been trapped in your heart center. So what we want to do is move it. And the way to move it is by talking through it, having your good cries. Whenever you feel like something is coming up that you need to get out, you're used to stuffing it. So we need to get it out. Let that energy move. You're not going to be able to move the next space unless the energy of letting go of this relationship is moved. Talk it out. Cry it out as much as you possibly can whenever it comes up, and write it out. So what I do personally is I keep a letter to that person. I'm never going to send it. I keep a letter to that person anytime there's something that I've wanted to say, especially once I've left the relationship. I resist calling them again and starting a negative dynamic or something that's unresolved. I just go and I start, you can do it in a voice memo. The point is that energy needs to move out of your body or it's going to get stuck and make you sick. So make sure you're moving all of that frustration or anger or whatever, sadness, whatever it is that you're feeling, so you can move to the next place. And then you get your healing. You ask God or your higher power once you've expressed it and you feel like you've said it, and you may still over time. I keep my letters open. Whenever I have a moment, I need to go back, even if it's 6 months to a year later, instead of texting them, I'll go back to my letter and I just get it out. And it feels really darn good. Or you can have a friend that'll let you just leave a voice message, tell them not even to listen to it, just say, I had to get it out. It's really, really important that energy needs to move. Then you can get into the alchemizing process where you just, and that just means transforming it. You ask God to take it. You forgive that person for whatever happened. You transform the energy instead of letting it stay stuck in the form that it was in. You transform it into forgiveness. You transform it into releasing it, giving it back to God, giving it to whatever your higher power is, releasing it in a boat on the ocean, watching it sail away. You can do visualizations. You can do whatever it is that feels right to you to let that energy move through and move on out of your vibrational field. Now, this is a perfect time for you also to redo your home environment. If this relationship has been significant and it's been an intimate partner, your home environment is extremely important for you to reorganize in a sense that this is going to be decluttering. It's going to make you feel much clearer in your mind, and maybe setting up spaces for yourself that represent the new you going into the world that really wants to attract relationships that match your new vibration, that really are reciprocal for you in your life. Something that I did in my house when I got divorced was I created what's called a happy wall. So I took all the pictures down that gave me any triggers at all, and that's another important thing. Don't throw everything away right now. Just put it in boxes until you can go back through it, but anything that really triggers you, that maybe brings up some feelings that are not comfortable, just put them away. Give yourself permission to cleanse your space of any memories that may make you still feel super sad, and put up things that make you feel really happy. This is the time that you get to create a life of happiness, of attracting relationships that reflect that. So what I did is I used, it was a company called Mixtiles, and they produce these great little photos that you peel the back off and you stick on the wall. They're like little squares. And I ordered like 20 of them one day. And then I just started adding to it any picture where I was in a new happy memory. I did it right off on my iPhone, where I was smiling, where I was with my new friends, where I was having a dinner party that showed me how vibrant my life can be, that showed me how it feels to be around people that love me. And then every time I walked by that wall, it made me feel really, really good. And again, that kept my vibration super high so I could keep attracting more of that into my life. Now, I'm gonna give you some other really, really good real life tips to use on how to end these relationships and attract new ones into your life. But before I give you those really good gold nuggets, I want you to go ahead and like this video if you like it. And if you want more on this kind of topic about how to make your life better, click the subscribe button so that you get the videos as soon as they're released. Now let's get back to the subject. So one of the primary things that you can do as you move forward, as you're letting go of old relationships and wanting to attract, maybe you've never done this before, you don't even know how to attract new relationships because you were so used to doing it that way. The way that you can attract new relationships that really represent and reflect back to you what you really desire is to become what you desire, to embody what you really love about life. Put yourself in situations, go and do the things that you couldn't do because maybe you were so much giving so much energy to that relationships and it wasn't working when that relationship was so alive and present and all encompassing in your life. And now that you've made the shift, Surround yourself, put yourself in positions of being in situations that you really enjoy. If you really love being with dogs, go volunteer at the dog shelter. If you really, and by the way, a breakup dog, if you're going through a breakup, is a really good thing. I have 2 breakup dogs. They have been my lifesavers. That's a really good thing to do. In the meantime here is get a pet, because what you're gonna be missing, right, is that companionship. The hardest thing about letting go of someone is always letting go of the friendship. And it's always about what you thought was gonna happen, what you thought was gonna come true as you guys evolved, especially if it's a partner. So a really great thing to do, even if you just want to take care of a fish, go and get a pet. I tell you what, they can be game changers. So by bringing those things and maybe a new pet into your life that you love, you're putting yourself up continuously at the vibration of love, which is a really high state of consciousness, which, as we know from law of attraction, is going to start then attracting to you into your life people and experiences that match that vibration of love. Instead of the vibration that you were lowering yourself to before, as you were attracting things that didn't feel good in your life, you weren't happy. Now that you're trying to find happiness, you have this great opportunity to create it. So surround yourself with things that you love and get rid of or put away things that make you feel triggered, that make you feel that low vibration again, okay? Because right now, as you're the CSO, Chief Soul Officer of your life, you're in charge of creating that field around you, so that you can then embody what you desire and attract those things that match you directly to you. And lastly, I want you to look at the relationship after you've healed. It's going to be impossible to do in the beginning, but after you've healed, after you've been able to reflect back and get more of a bird's eye view, more of like looking at the big picture instead of being so focused on the specifics, when you're able to pull back, you'll find yourself, and this is how you know you've healed. You can look back at the relationship and find gratitude. That is the sweet spot of healing, when you can look back and say, you know what? I'm not going to go on and on about how much that person sucked or how miserable I was, because remember, the more you're talking about what you didn't like in that relationship, the more you're focusing on what you don't want, which puts it in your vibrational field, which then attracts more things that match what you don't want directly to you. So what we want in your vibrational field is for you then to focus on what you do want. And what you do want are things that you're grateful for, things that you appreciate, things that you love. So when you can look back on that relationship and say, you know, which is true, the relationship helped you grow. The hardest relationships that are in our lives give us the biggest opportunity to grow. And you can say to yourself, you know, had I not been through that, no matter what you feel like was wasted, because by the way, none of it was wasted, no matter what you feel like you gave up, maybe it was money, maybe it was years of your life, whatever it was, I learned X, Y, and Z because of it. I'm a stronger person because now I know that I will never settle for that again. Now I know that I really desire and deserve A, B, and C. Now I know that what I really want in my life is more fun. Now I know that, gosh, I'm so much more lit up when I'm playing the music that I love, when I'm going on the trips that I love, and I want to find someone that matches that. See, all those things that you learn while not condemning the person or judging them or saying that they're bad and you're better, because you know what, again, everyone has their own soul journey. Those were their preferences. They're just not yours anymore. Stay in the lane of non-judgment, non-expansion over what you didn't like, and instead expand those things that you're grateful for. Put yourself in the place of things that you really appreciate and watch your life literally magically shift and start attracting those relationships that you can embrace with full joy. So if you love talking about relationships, which ones to let go of, which ones to go towards, and how to activate your life so law of attraction brings in the right relationships in your life, I have a free masterclass for you where we start addressing that issue. It's a stepping stone towards you really forming the life that you're looking for. It's totally free. You can jump in by clicking the link below. I can't wait to see you there.